The first few days of 2023 have already been incredibly memorable. Your girl tripped on. I got a new house. I've written a lot of poetry over the course of like a month. It's just been so much stuff that's happening, and I feel like life is like that all the time. It's always stuff happening, but it's like the energy of the stuff that has been happening is what makes it different. Of course, the energy of the new year, everyone's feeling it so loudly and proudly and things like that. And it's just been a lot of like new beginnings, and like the releasing of old stuff has been prominent feature of the new year. But I guess we can talk about that. But for right now, I want to talk about love and how love is the foundation of all for everyone and everything. And it's only a matter of people realizing that. It's not a matter of if it's true or false. I feel high on life, high on possibilities. It's an immense feeling, you know? When I say that love is a foundation for everything and everyone, I don't know how to put it in simpler terms. It's like if we're building a house, the foundation of the house shall be love. And that's what it's like to be in this body on this planet at this very time. I feel like love is such a prominent energy, but it has so many controversial feelings behind it. And I was just talking about it with AB and Quay on New Year's Eve, because we were just talking about how people discuss love, and they discuss it as though it has the option of being present, when it's like the only reason that we'll look at somebody and be like, oh, I don't love you yet. Like, let's just say partnership. Let's just say romantic partnership. The reason that we'll meet somebody in like a weekend, we're sitting here fighting with our ego, like, oh, the ego's all like, you can't say you love them. It's only been a week. What will people think? That's literally like the ideas of everyone else. That's the idea of colonization. Like we used to be raised in community where everyone knew everyone loved each other. Like there's nothing else that needs to exist other than that. And I love love so much, and I love talking about it, but it's very interesting to come from a place where it is used as something that is controversial, right? We could talk about being raised in abusive households where it's like, how are you in love? It gets funny because it's like, that is love, but it's also a lot of other things too.
Have y'all read All About Love?
No, I feel like everybody has read that book, but I haven't read that book yet.
But I'm reading it. I'll let you borrow it after this.
Okay.
But she defined love as like contributing to your or somebody else's spiritual growth. And I think that was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's how she defined love, and that's all I got so far. 2 chapters in.
Bro,
I wish we could find a name for the other shit and start calling it something else instead of love. Like when you see love that isn't
love,
yeah,
like abuse and stuff. Like
yeah, but you still have to call it love.
Like infatuation.
Yeah.
It's
There's something called limerence where you're like,
and it's not. It doesn't have to be that extreme. It could just be like quote unquote toxic love, where it's like, you know, 2 people are not in agreement. Maybe the nigga wants, you know, to be polygamous, but he doesn't want to say it, so he's technically cheating. But shawty was just like, you know what? I love this nigga. Do you love this nigga? If technically y'all don't align, and you're just continuing just playing this like role that isn't you.
That's literally
you're not going within yourself. So is that love?
Yeah,
stuff like that. So it doesn't have to be like that, like, you know, toxic.
That's like a I don't know. That can be referred to as like a lot of things, but I think it just embodies like chords, you know, like the chords you have with people and stuff like that, like like the energy that is intertwined, like the codependency, childhood trauma, like a lot of that is entangled within that. But
like, is it love if you know deep down they're not even like good for your growth, or you're just stagnant with them?
Exactly. That's what
is that love?
No, well, I mean, but at the same time, it's just like love is everywhere. Facts. And it's like, it is love to an extent, but it is love, but it isn't at the same time.
It isn't the love we're talking about, though. So I feel that's what I'm saying. Like, that should be separate from what love is. Because when we talk about love, we're not talking about that. When people talk about love, they're never talking about that. But yet when they're in it, they still call it love. No one thinks about love and be like, oh,
I think that a part of you does love
situations.
the person that's abusing you, and
Word.
but
Yeah,
you also simultaneously know it's wrong.
Yeah.
And the person that's abusing you, they do love you in a weird, twisted way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But they're also don't. Yeah,
because
you're right.
I've been in it.
Actually.
I've experienced that, and
There's
I know
no word
you
for
have
that.
too.
Yeah.
Like I've definitely experienced that, where it's like it is love.
I did love that
but
person,
it's
but like
it's a whole bunch of other stuff too. It's too much other stuff, and you can't really put your finger on it. But it's very interesting the way people are only comfortable expressing their love, and you can really see it from the way that people interact and the way that they just express. Like, for example, I just rewatched. I did not rewatch. I watched the remake of Matilda. I was disappointed because I grew up with that movie. But at the very end of the movie, when Miss Honey was like, I want her to come live with me. Like, can Matilda come live with me? Her parents hated her. Her parents hated her. It was weird. It was weird how they were just really like verbally, emotionally abusive against her. And the entire movie, the dad, he was always like, I wanted a son. I wanted a son. And at the very end, he looked at Miss Honey after she pitched this idea. And he was like, you want to take my daughter to live with you? And Matilda was like, you just called me your daughter. And I'm like, whoa. Like, what a very particular expression of love. And literally, I feel like what I'm saying is even controversial right now, because people could be sitting here like, abuse isn't love, like that's not love. But I'm saying like the foundation of absolutely everything is love. Only love is real. As I'm editing this, I have been able to think better and articulate better the message that I'm trying to convey. And that is, while the foundation of absolutely everything is love, the one thing that differentiates whether it's solely pure love that is present or if it's love mixed with a whole bunch of other things, i.e. abuse, endangerment, just like different negative aspects that people have where they can't authentically say, hey, I love you, is because the thing that makes it different is the love that they have for themselves. Because it's like, if you don't love yourself enough, you're not even going to be able to admit to yourself that you love yourself. So what in the world makes anyone think that they'll be able to express that genuine love for somebody else, even if it's your child, even if it's your sibling, even if it's your parent, even if it's your romantic partner? Like, if you don't love yourself enough, you're going to create that barrier in between you and everybody else. So it's like when I use this example of Matilda and her father, it's like, oh, in this very weird, strange, specific way, this man put you through emotional hell, and yet love is still present. Love is still there. And it can be a very hard pill for people to swallow, but that's the truth. Yeah. I don't really care if people don't believe that, because it's taken me a while to understand this for myself. The same way that everybody is a reflection of me, which is how we can maybe make it simpler with me saying this, because everyone is a reflection of you, right? So when I come across people in the grocery store, like, these people are just reflections of me. Like, any encounter I have with somebody is a reflection of myself. Yes, it's a very interesting, I'll say it's a very interesting concept, but just bear with me, because I've been trying to digest this for a minute. Like, everyone is a reflection of me, and it's like, okay, I'm cool as fuck. I love myself, and I've always loved myself, but I've definitely had to step into different I've had to climb the love ladder for myself, right? Like, I've had to step into very unique, different spaces and prove to myself that I do love myself enough to show up as authentically me as possible. I've always been very, very different and very comfortable enough in that difference, but it still has been me climbing a ladder of, okay, now I'm comfortable with doing shrooms on my channel. How comfortable are we with getting naked on camera? Because it's like, I've always been wanting to get naked, so I always want to be naked, for one. So it's like, we want to create erotica. Should we just hop on over to OnlyFans? Let's try that out. Like, I'm looking at my notes, and I love the way that I laid out this video. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was how there is no recreating past experiences. I think I've touched on this before. At least last year, I had some very memorable experiences that I wanted to create. Just for like example, me, Trey, and AB, we always go on vacation together, and we've been to the cabins. We went to the cabins last February, and we went to the cabins again a few months ago, and I found myself wanting to recreate how good of an experience I had the first time we went. But then I had to step back and realize that all of us have experienced good that is so good. We've had such fond experience and such amazing, abundant experiences and memories and things like that. And it's like, to an extent, we kind of hold on to that and just think like it can't get any better than that. But the truth is, you're not gonna believe it. You're not gonna believe it. It can, and it does, and that shit is so fucking fine. That shit is so fucking fine when you just allow things to just be what they are, and you just continue to just move on through life and take hold of the experiences and be with them in that present moment. It's so good. Like, some of my like greatest memories is just like times where it's me and my niggas, and we're just like laughing. Like, just somebody said some funny shit, somebody did something hilarious, like the freestyle cipher thing we did in my last video. Like, we're literally just being, and it's hilarious. Like, those are some great memories. And it's just even cooler to understand the fact that like there's gonna be infinite amount of times in the future that does not yet exist where we're gonna be fucking kikiing and haha and even more. Bro, what? Like, that shit is so lit to me. Like, and so it's like, you take simple things like you laughing with your friends, and you really think about like, Shawty just won the lottery for I don't know, just some random experience. Like, somebody just won a shit ton of money, and somebody just got like 20 mil right then, right there, like, and it's lit. And it's like, there's so much more out there to even experience. There's so much more money. We tend to even think of money as though it's something that is limited, but it's energy. And it's so lovely, because the one thing that they tell you about energy, the first thing I remember learning about energy, is that energy can neither be created or destroyed. Energy is like forever. Energy is infinite. So it's like, if you really think about that, you could think about how love is an infinite resource. You could think about how money is an infinite resource. You could think about how creative expression is an unlimited resource. And yeah, that really sums it up. One more aspect to this topic of there's no recreating past experiences. I love cartoons, so I'm about to go on a little Rick and Morty spiel real fast. Of course, you go on YouTube and you watch the conspiracy theories, and you see niggas in the comments like, oh yeah, I wasn't crazy about this season. Nothing beats seasons 1 through 3. People like to try to pick sides about this production of media, whether it's a movie, a franchise like Star Wars. Literally the season, the season finale with Rick, Morty and the president, they were arguing about Star Wars the same way niggas be arguing about how Rick and Morty seasons 1 through 3 were better than 4 through 6. And it's like, it goes back to what I'm saying is, when you create something, you can't, and it's great, you create something and it's great, and that's the framework of it. You can't continue to create with the idea of, I want to create something as great as that. Like, it just needs to flow, because then you're going to be looking back too much. Like, you don't want to move forward, but how are you moving forward and looking back? Like, that's not how love works. Like, you love something, you let that shit flow. Like, you let that shit come in, and then it goes out. And then it's like that with romance. It's like that with friendships. It's like that with writing. It's like that with whatever your art form is. It's like that with your career. Like, it's like that with everything. So it's like the argument of this Star Wars franchise was better than that one, or whatever in the fuck. It's very irrelevant because it doesn't really exist. Well, this actually cascades properly into what I wanted to talk about next. Was there have been attacks on creative freedom and love. There have been recent attacks against that shit, and something that's got me hella upset is the fact that Netflix has decided to cancel season 2 of Inside Job. It talks about a lot of the shit that I be talking about with like reptilians and like the shadow government and conspiracy theories and the moon, like just shit like that. And it's done in a very interesting way, but they greenlit that shit for season 2 and then turned around and said, oh no, we're gonna cancel it. And the reason that they were saying they canceled it, some people said something about it wasn't selling enough merch. I don't know about that, because it's like, who's buying merch? Like, who's buying merch? Like, we buy a Netflix subscription, like, let that be enough. And then they said something about like the analytics of it weren't as high as Netflix wanted, even though it was trending and it was in the top 10, you know, when you go on Netflix and they show the top 10 shows and movies, whatever, at that time period, like, it was there. And it sucks because it's like, I remember recently, and I know y'all remember, some of y'all remember this, Cartoon Network, Warner Brothers bought out Cartoon Network, and niggas was like, oh, RIP Cartoon Network, and then of course the Warner Bros hopped on Cartoon Network's Instagram. It's like, no, we're still here, like, we're alive and well. And it's like, no, you not though, but you're not. Like, you're not finna bring back Infinity Train. You're not gonna give me a proper conclusion to The Amazing World of Gumball. You're not gonna apparently there's a Adventure Time gender swap coming, like Fiona and Cake. I don't know if that's real, but like, it's not the same. And the reason is because there's not the creative love. They're not letting that shit thrive. They're not letting it go up. They're only creating these like 1 season shows and then saying, if this doesn't do well enough without us needing to promote it a lot, then we're going to go ahead and cancel it. It makes me sad because as a creative myself, things like this are really discouraging to like other creatives. Things struggle to be genuine with the man backing it, right? And I'm just like, damn, like, they're gonna be gravely disappointed and annoyingly confused when they lose even more viewers and their analytics get even worse. Because like, after Stranger Things, like, what the fuck is gonna come and take its place? Like, come on now. Unless you're gonna let that love come and thrive and grow and give it the chance, the authentic, genuine chance to really be what it was always meant to be in the eyes of the original creator, you're gonna fuck it up. You're gonna fuck it up. And I'm not even just talking about like Netflix. I'm talking like creators on YouTube, creators like myself. Bitch, can I tell you how many videos have been getting demonetized? A lot of my videos have been getting demonetized and age restricted. But when my little brother goes on YouTube Kids, he can watch videos of gamers playing kid games and saying that they're gonna kill themselves and that they hate themselves. And now he's saying that shit in school, and it's become a thing. But like, I sit on here and do shrooms and talk about love and light, and we don't want to hear that. That's against our community guidelines. Get the fuck out of here, Susan. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I guess that also creates the question of, when these things happen, when the man tries to come in and put his penis all in everything, what do you do? When it becomes, okay, the person that was backing my creative endeavors only cares about money and really doesn't give, like, did you even watch the show? Like, did you even watch the show? Did you watch the content, or did you have some AI robot analyze the subtitles in this video and say, oh, she said the word shroom and fuck too many times, we're gonna take that shit down, we're gonna age restrict it? Authenticity, though, I know for a fact, with this generation, my generation, and the generations that are coming up, I've been hearing stories from, like, my friends who got, like, 14-year-old siblings, and how them niggas do not give a fuck at all. Like, them niggas be, I mean, look at TikTok. Like, look at TikTok. They were really, like, stealing bathroom sinks out of the school. I'm with that rah-rah shit, but, like, I would have not been doing that shit in school. Like, I wouldn't have. Let me clarify. My form of revolution was more of an inside job. A nigga had a very high ranking in my high school social status ladder, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So I had a lot of, like, teachers that really fucked with me. And so I was, like, getting a lot of inside scoops on what the hell was going on, and, like, winning county awards for, like, my poetry, but it being quote unquote controversial to my like principal and, like, the assistant principal at my school, because they didn't like how progressive I was. And yeah, a nigga was making a lot of noise. I just wanted to get that on the record, but I wasn't, like, committing vandalism. But we love vandalism too. If that's how you attack the man, great. And now these big businesses need to understand how to market to, like, our generation, and love is the answer. Love's the answer. It's the foundation. It's the whole point of the video. It's the whole point of why we're here to begin with. And with that being said, I do want to talk about what I love. I do want to talk about it. For me right now, I've been getting back into... No, not back into. I've just been diving deeper into what it is that I do love. And the things that have been standing out the most is my poetry. I have just been learning so much more about myself, and about, I don't want to say the conditioning or the programming. I don't want to say that. The design. Yes. I've been learning about the design of self, which also is the design of the soul, and the design of different aspects of what it is to occupy a body, to have a vessel, to be on earth, to learn lessons, and to grow. And with that, it's like the ego and the soul self, the higher self, and then, like, the vessel that we are in right now. I've definitely been able to, like, shine a light and really navigate differently based off of everything that I know about self, and everything that I know about everything that I've remembered. Everything that I've remembered. Because it's like, this is not me getting new knowledge. This is infinite knowledge that has transpired, that has stayed with me through tens and tens of lifetimes. And with that being said, I want to read you guys a poem that I just wrote. The wind was so loud, so I'm just gonna read it here. When I die, do not tell the kids I'm in heaven. Instead, show them an image of a circle and point out all the places that it does not stop. Tell them that this is what it means to occupy a body. Our soul undergoes different life cycles, and I just so happen to be done with this one. For I am not dead. I am alive in even more aspects than before. There will be no tales about a white man dying for my vices. No story about the eternal search for a God that is outside of me. Tell the kids that I went into a canal similar to the one we come out of. Tell them that I was greeted by beings I've known for eons. Describe a vortex filled with colors never before seen by the human eye. Tell them I am both here and somewhere else. The breeze on the back of your neck, the everything on a bagel, all the hairs you shave away that keep growing back, for I am God. But do not worship me, for what is God but not a mirror of both you and me? I do not dream of an eternal white paradise filled with those from my past life. To be honest, that sounds boring. Where is the soul's progression if we never learn our lessons? I dream of experiencing all sides of the spectrum, embodying every archetype that begat the universe until I exhale new galaxies that begat the universe. For there is so much more to discover in life after death. I wrote that as I was coming down from my MDMA trip. And it just made so much sense to me because recently my little brother, he turned 7 in December, Sag. He has been like expressing a lot of fear about death. And I'm just like, with all that I know about death is just the period that starts another sentence. Like, it's nothing to fear. And it's very interesting because the fear of death actually, it both makes and breaks so much for so many people. The fear of death really does determine how a lot of people move in this world. If you did not fear death, what would you do? If you did not fear death, what would you change? If you did not fear, what would you change? I feel like MDMA is when love, all the serotonin in your brain, dopamine in your brain, it just like all the stuff that's like in the back that your brain is like, all right, we'll save this for later. All of that goes to your front, okay? So when you're on MDMA, all you're experiencing is just like, oh my God, like I love everything. I love everything. And it's like love just took the wheel, right? I was doing a lot of shit on MDMA. I was saying a lot of things, and it was so beautiful because my ego just didn't exist for a while. Like it didn't exist. Like it wasn't there. Like it was like when you're about to burn a damn house down because you're cooking shit on high and there's smoke all over the place and the fire detector's going off. Like it's like it was just like a cloud of just pink love just everywhere, like just all in my shit, like and it's like all I could do was just speak directly from my subconscious with exactly what it was that I wanted to say. It was great. Oh, but this isn't me telling you to do drugs, even though niggas got antidepressant commercials all over the place. Along with that, reading has been something that I am so grateful to be getting back in touch with, because reading was definitely an escape for me when I was younger, as it was for a lot of us. But I'm glad that I'm no longer needing it as an escape. I'm doing it because I really just want to learn and to, just, I was gonna say grow, but I'm just on a journey. Like there is no end point, like, so it's like it's always a journey. So I should just be consistent in that, like I'm growing. And as you know, Women Who Run with the Wolves, I've said that will be a book that niggas forever read. Like that's just that's a whole nother thing. The Women Who Run with the Wolves. And I've been reading the Vagina Monologues. I just love anything relating to like pleasure. Like I just love that shit. Like I just love that shit so much. It's really cool, and it came out like years ago, and this is the 20th anniversary of the book coming out, and so she's like added new stuff in it, and I just love being a woman. That's what I'm trying to say. I just love being a woman. That wind was really going dumb as I was trying to conclude this video, but my last thing that I was saying is with the books that I've been reading, and the poetry that I've been writing, I've just been falling more in love with the things that I've always known myself to be, like a poet, like a pleasure enthusiast, like a erotic being of divinity and consciousness. Oh my God. But I started to talk about OnlyFans a little bit because I find it to be something that is very interesting, and even with the way that I approach it, it's different than what people would perceive when you automatically just hear OnlyFans. And that's something that I'm very eager to expand on within this new year. Just being and like showing more of what it is like to connect with your sacred femininity, because since December of not the year that just passed, 2021, I went into like hibernation, which is why I wasn't posting on YouTube much for the majority of 2021. Like I went into serious hibernation, and I was like, I'm about to connect even more deeper with my yoni space and fall more into whatever it is that she needs from me. And we're going to see where this puts me in like a year and a half. And now I'm at the point where I am just like, bro, fuck it. Like I cannot force any standards or any restrictions on myself with the way that I create or just the way that I do anything. Because my whole life centers around creation. My whole life centers around, I'm going to say my career, but literally my career is creation. So it's like, I'm not going to keep on holding myself back. And I have to recognize the value that is in the worth of what it is that I do create. And with that being said, subscribe to my fucking OnlyFans, because it's lit over there. Yeah. And even I've experienced some sort of resistance, but it's literally just resistance within myself with, a part of me feeling like I'm having to fit some type of narrative, but it's like the only narrative that would be forceful onto me is the narrative that I create within my own head. And it's like my favorite thing to do is to witness, let's just say musicians, right? Let's just say Willow or Erykah Badu, like just witness the way that they just sound so different. They just create so different, and yet they are so comfortable within that difference. So I'm like, okay, I can test these waters. Let's see what we're about to do over there. Let's see what we're about to do over here. And it's just so dope. Yeah. So other than that, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. So much more different shit to come. That's what I'll say about my content moving forward. I don't know what's going to happen, but best believe it's always some cool shit happening to me. So I'll bring you guys along. But other than that, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below. Comment down below what you released and left in 2022. And comment down below what it is that you want to embrace for the new year. Yeah, let's do that. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment, like, subscribe, same as always. And you guys will see me in the next video. Peace.